G'day SA.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jay.
Jay, did you know that Hahndorf is the oldest surviving German village in Australia?
Wow, sounds like there's lots to see and do. Why don't we go and have a look?
Hahndorf is a jewel in the Adelaide Hills and is one of South Australia's most popular tourist destinations. There are also some fabulous shops around here and I'll be sure to check them out before I leave. Hahndorf has a quaint, historic feel about it and the main street is adorned with restaurants, cafes, gift and souvenir shops, specialised clothing and galleries. It seems that Hahndorf caters for every person imaginable and everyone finds something they like. From clothes to home goods and food, the variety is incredible. It is hard to stop when you're in the shopping mood.
Which one would you like to try?
I'd like to try the Bailey's one, thank you.
Oh, this one here got a mush and it'll suck all the juice out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It might seem that shopping is a classic female leisure activity, but we found one very special store on the main street that got even Jay interested.
John and Jenny Graham, owners of the Leathersmith and Bush Gallery, are the longest serving traders on Hahndorf's main street since 1983. The shop has a unique feel with an open fireplace and a welcoming smile on hand. It's not hard to imagine the building as the old Australian Arms Hotel back in the day. During the 1960s, John began to notice that jeans were becoming readily available in the shops and realised that it was a lack of good quality leather belts available. This prompted John's signature product to be born.
You have to have one item that's going to be good, so you make a good belt, then you make 3 or 4 different styles of belts, and they have to be the best you can do, so that when you make a dozen of them, you know you've got a dozen things that are going to sell.
Yeah.
You haven't got a dozen belts saying which one of those you like, what size are you, I'll get you one of these designs in your size.
Yeah.
And that's your bread and butter. So you work 3 days making those, and you've got 4 days left to make your other stuff that you want to do to get that feeling you get from working with leather. Some leathers you can wet and mould it to make the product. Other leathers, it's cut and design, it's shape. But the moulding and cutting and the combination of the lot gives you your product. I used to sell on the footpath in Melbourne in the Esplanade. You could set a stand up of your week's work and stand back and look at it and you say, yep, that's a good week's work. And there were 13 leather workers on the footpath. And we'd all go and look at each other's work and compliment each other and get excited on, look what Ralph's done over there.
Yeah.
Come and have a look at what Mr. P's
Not like
done.
these days where it's all just about the competition, isn't it?
No, this was how did you do that? That's fantastic. And we'd end up with 3 pocket bags for overnight bags and with an extra pocket for something else. No mobile phones in, but you'd have an extra pocket to put something else in. You know, whether it was a painter's thing with 4 brushes there and a knife. And you put pictures on the front. Some would be flowery, some would be motorbike, some would be this, some would be that. And that was the carving side. And then you'd have the people who put lace work all around it. And you're inspired by everybody, and everybody's teaching each other by what we're doing something new.
Exactly.
So you're happy to get there and you're happy to sell.
Sebastian has been helping his dad since he was 10 and now works for the Leathersmith and Bush Gallery full-time, helping out with the manufacturing and customer service. As everything in the store is manufactured on site, visitors are able to look into the workshop and see how everything is made. But today we are getting a special treatment. Jay gets to go inside the workshop and get hands-on experience in working with leather.
First of all, tools of the trade. I'm going to whack one of these hats on.
You got to look the
Do
part.
I look the part?
That's it.
Do I look all right?
You look like a leathersmith right now. That's good.
So what are you going to do now?
All right, we get started. I've got the leather cut. That's just a bit of cowhide. It's natural.
and we're going to emboss it. So the first thing I've done is wet the leather. So once it's been wet, we can emboss it, just like that. And we'll do an
Wow.
edge border.
That
So
seems
if
pretty
you-
simple.
If you want to give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot. It
No
seems
worries.
pretty simple. Now, I'm going to watch my thumb because I remember doing this in high school.
You got use a big hammer, and that
So
way
just
you won't
doing
miss.
that. Here we go. Oh, that's not pretty. That's not hard enough, is it? No?
No, just about. Just about.
I'm not going to get a job here, am I?
No, we'll see. You're getting there. I'll show you how it's done.
Okay. Wow.
That's it. Do you want another shot?
I'll do the send bit, corner bit.
They're a natural, mate.
Oh, we're getting it down pat now, and no thumb. Thank you very much.
You haven't done too bad. Alrighty, we'll see if we can chuck a little something in the middle there.
Is it possible for us to have G'day SA on the stubby holder?
I knew you were going to say that. It's quite possible.
It is quite possible.
Yes, it is.
Oh, beautiful.
So we've got all the different letters here, and you can just
And it's
emboss
just a
them in
matter
the
of
same
putting
way.
that on top of the.
So we put them in, make sure they're not upside down. That's
I
the
bet
main
you've done
thing.
that before.
I have many a time, and end up just throwing those things in the corner.
So G'day.
Good day.
SA.
We're at 1A, so we'll use that in a second.
A. And a Y. Here we go. Let's have a look at that.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad for a rookie.
Yeah. Alrighty. Now, you're going to get your hands dirty. We're going to put a bit of colour just into where it's been embossed.
Yep.
So we've got a bit of colour here, a bit of brown. Pour that on and rub it in.
Over the whole.
Yeah, over the whole lot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, drizzle it around.
And now rub it in.
Yep.
All right.
Now what we're going to do is just give it a bit of a scrape.
Ah, beautiful. Looks pretty professional already at this
Yeah,
stage,
we're getting
doesn't
there,
it?
we're getting there.
Now we're going to do some glossing now.
Yep.
And can you just show me
Well,
what
this
we're
is
up
your leather stain. We're going to start with this one. Just give it a bit of a wash. So that's your light tan
to?
stain.
Light tan, yep.
And then I'll let you do this one.
All right, what's this one?
It's called London tan, a little
London
bit darker.
tan,
That's
okay.
it.
So just all on a straight.
Yeah, all around. All right, the next thing we're going to do is get the brown. And if I can get you to just do around the edges and leave the middle.
It's like a primary school lesson, really.
That's it. So you can go up to here and do this bit. Just leave the G'day SA.
Leave the G'day SA.
The next step now is just we have to seal it and put a handle on. Now we've got a bit of cowhide here, and I'll just get you to, this is a strap cutter, just get you to cut a strap.
Cut a strap, all right. Straight down. Ready to go on?
Ready to assemble now. Little dolly here. All right, now what we've got to do is hit these rivets down. So if you want to use that hammer, use a small end, it's a little bit more
Small
accurate. Now we're just going to put the foam insert in, and you're ready to go.
That, my friend, is absolutely sensational. G'day SA. I've not made something like this since high school.
Oh, very good.
Very, very happy with that. All that's missing, let's go and fill it up.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Thanks, Sev.
All right, thank you.
Well, if you have a family, the Farm Barn is a great place to bring the kids. They've got a great range of family fun activities to do with the animals. And if you're grown up, well, you can have some fun as well. We're all big kids, really. Let's go inside and have a look.
The Hahndorf Farm Barn is a unique place as it's not only a children's farmyard, but it's also a nature wildlife park. The Farm Barn is for people of all ages to closely interact and engage with a variety of tame and friendly animals. Visitors are encouraged to participate in a wide range of activities involving animal interaction, and one of them is hand milking a cow. We just couldn't let that one slip past us. So, I'm going to get this cow out into the barn and we're going to get Jay to milk it.
Nothing like being thrown in the deep end, Marika.
No. Well, have a seat.
Oh, time to driving, Miss Daisy.
Have you ever done it before?
Never in my life have I ever done
Good.
this. I'm actually nervous.
2 fingers.
Yes.
You need to squeeze and slide down.
Okay.
Nice and firm all the way, but do not pull it off.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
So how do we get chocolate milk out of this?
By feeding her chocolate.
Okay. I'm doing all right.
I think there's enough for a cup of tea at the moment.
Not quite. You might have to start at 2 in the morning for a cup
2 in the
of
morning
tea.
for doing that. Wow.
Well, Jason, we saw Jay just have a great time with that cow then. So can you tell me how this project came about?
Yeah, about 15 years ago, believe it or not, a family called the Farmers actually started the farm barn.
And did they have a farm?
They had a big farm actually, but they started here. They'd seen a property similar to this in New South Wales and just thought the way Hahndorf was going 15, 20 years ago, this would be a great tourist destination. And so the farm barn was born. We took it over 2.5 years ago and have grown it considerably since then. But you know, we just given it a whole lot of love and a new lease of life, and it's just boomed since.
And what type of animals do you have here?
We've got everything. We've got sheep, we've got chickens, got emus, got ostriches, got kangaroos, got wallabies, got lambs, got goats, got guinea pigs, got rabbits, got snakes, got camels.
Keep going and going and
We
going.
have got tons of different animals here, all predominantly farm animals. We've also got owls and kookaburras and cockatoos as well. But everything that we showcase here at the farm is all about how they all live with one another, how they all work together, how why owls are really good for a farm, why kookaburras are good for a farm, why pythons are good for a farm, and also why cows and your sheep are good for a farm as well.
So I can imagine the kids love coming and playing here. What can they do here?
Well, a lot of them do cry when they leave because they do love it that much, but there's everything for kids to do. What we try to do is give every child the opportunity to understand what it's really like on a farm, because we are a working farm. We milk our own cows, we shear our own sheep. So we try to give them an understanding of what it's like on a farm, where milk actually comes from. It doesn't come from
the supermarket.
No, which a lot of them do believe. But a lot of kids all get hands-on. We do farmer for a day activities where kids actually spend the whole day here doing farm duties, which is great. It means I don't have to do any mucking out. But you know, they get to go on tractor rides, they can go on pony rides, they get to feed the animals, they get to milk bottle feed the lambs and the goats. So everything is interactive. We want all the kids to come here and actually experience one-on-one what it's like to hold and feed and touch an animal.
And why do you think it might be important for kids to get that interaction with animals here?
A lot of farms are moving further and further and further out of the metropolis. So a lot of kids actually don't get to experience farm life. When I was growing up, you had 2 or 3 uncles that had farms. Now very few kids have farms. So this is a great way for them to understand where our produce comes from. A lot of kids, as you said, think that milk just comes from the supermarket. It actually doesn't. And we also show them how to pasteurise the milk. We can teach them and also show them with Farmer for a Day actually how to make their own butter and cheese and all that sort of stuff. So it's an understanding and an educational process for them to learn what it's really like to be on a working farm.
I don't know about you, Shannon, but I'm hungry.
Jay, you're always thinking about your stomach, but we are in Hahndorf, so why don't we go try some traditional German food?
Already onto it.
Oh, there he goes.
Finding a place to eat in Hahndorf isn't really that hard. The main street is planted with cafes, restaurants, pubs and takeaway joints, all offering fantastic choices of different European style of foods. We decided to go into the famous Hahndorf Inn, a pub that has been in Hahndorf since 1863, with many of its original features still retained to this day. The combination of rich history and hospitality makes it a perfect place to visit for a great meal and atmosphere.
Wow, that looks absolutely amazing. I'll wait off a little bit. Can you just tell us what we have here?
Well, people, this is our famous platter at the Hahndorf Inn. It's called A Taste of Germany, and it's a selection of German meats, and it's beautifully cooked. The Kassler chop is your double wood smoked pork loin chop on the char grill, turned over a couple of times. It's absolutely superb, and it's actually accompanied with 4 of the best German sausages. And they're different. There's 6 to choose from, and they're called wursts. And I always say we've got the best of the worst here. Now also the pork knuckle, that is your true Eisbein, and it's pickled and it's cooked for 3.5 hours, and it just falls off the bone like butter.
So that's a true traditional dish.
Absolutely. This is mainly from south of Germany, in Bavarian style. We do have the Weisswurst, which is a very good breakfast sausage in Germany, and they don't serve it till after 12 o'clock. The pretzels are famous. They're your German breads, and they accompany it with the beautiful brine potatoes done with a Bavarian mustard sauce. Sauerkraut, which is cooked traditionally, people, and that's done with the caraway seed and the juniper berry. It is one of our most popular dishes throughout all of the world. People from all over the world come for this dish.
And I can see why. I tell you what, it looks
you're
amazing.
going to love it. You're going to love it.
What have we got over here?
This one is our invention. This
It's like
is
a big hot dog, really, isn't it?
This is the largest German hot dog in Australia.
Wow.
And it is 1 metre long. And the baguettes are cooked pour this particular dish separately. So they're baked fresh every morning, finished off with the sauerkraut on top, so it's a traditional German hot dog. And we do put the potatoes on the fries.
Excuse me, sir, I'm just drooling at the moment while you do.
And it is, and it's accompanied with a selection of German mustards here. People, without the mustards, it wouldn't be a true German hot dog. So we actually do a tradition here where if you eat the whole German hot dog, you will win a T-shirt that we have designed ourselves.
Oh, I could do that. I hopefully got a couple of T-shirts because I reckon I could eat 2 of those.
Oh, look, they struggle, but they do it, and we have lots of T-shirts wandering around, and it is a famous hot dog in Australia.
Well, thank you very much for making us feel welcome. I've got my meal. Now, Shannon, what are you going to order?
Well, looks like I'm just going to be getting the salad there.
You can have the salad, and I'll have the rest of this.
Don't worry, Shannon, we'll get you something.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, how beautiful.
Bitteschön and good appetit to you both. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
Great shopping and traditional food is often what people come to Hahndorf for. However, what many of us miss out on is the rich history of the place. Hahndorf is actually home to many original buildings, some of which are over 150 years old. Isn't that right, Sharon?
That's absolutely right, Shannon. What happened was in 1838, a group of Prussians had to escape persecution from Prussia, and they came out here to Australia to be able to live a life the way that they wanted. So the captain of the ship, of the Zebra, actually brought them up here to the hills and found this piece of land for them here. So they have lived in this town ever since then. We've even got some of the original inhabitants still here. So people really love to see all about the history, to find out about the Lutheran church commencing in this area and how each of the families actually pioneered this area. We're actually standing in front of the Pioneer Park here, and the names of those people are listed on the gates here. So people come to look at their family history, to take photos of their family names on the gates and hear all about Captain Hahn. He was an amazing man, and that's what our village is named after, Captain Hahn. Hahn for his name, Dorf for the village. Hahndorf. Hahndorf.
Just next to the Pioneers Park is the start of the Pioneers Women's Walk. This trail was walked by a German woman from Hahndorf to Adelaide to sell produce during the early years of the colony. When I'm doing the Mount Lofty and Mount Osmond walking trails, I often see signs pointing to the Pioneers Women's Trail, and here it is.
That's right. Women's Pioneer Walking Trail actually starts right here in Hahndorf. And this is the monument that we put up here to remind us of the food and faith of the women of that early time. Conditions in the colony were really difficult and food was very scarce. So the women here took their produce 2 and 3 times a week down the hill to Adelaide to sell to the women and families down there.
So the trail must have been a very, very important thing back in the day.
Absolutely. It's amazing to think that they had 27 kilos of weight on yokes on their shoulders. They were carrying their cabbages and their milk and their fruit and their butter and cheese, and barefoot with all of that weight down 2 and 3 times a week, leaving here at midnight so that all their produce was ready for the colony early the next morning.
Yeah, it truly is amazing what they did, isn't it?
It is. The fact that they didn't have any idea about the snakes, the koalas, the kangaroos, they were terrified.
Oh, they would have been.
Yeah, they actually drew straws before they left to see who would go at the beginning and at the end of the walk, because they knew that they were the most vulnerable spots.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a hard walk, really steep, and they were stoic women, really supporting the colony, and they actually saved it from starvation. And that's part of our rich history of this area. We're really proud of what was done in the early colony.
One of the main things that creates the unique atmosphere in Hahndorf is the fact that it still retains much of its original architecture. Many of the buildings have turned into shops and businesses over time, which means it is accessible for anyone to come in and have a look. The walk down the main street really does feel like a walk through time.
Here in Hahndorf, we've got about 90 historic buildings down in our main street.
90?
90
oh,
buildings.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is, and people really enjoy coming along and having a look at all the different architecture and the styles of homes that were built in our main street. We've got a blacksmith shop that is original, and next door to it, a Fachwerk architecture building. So people do have a lot of interest in seeing how the buildings were constructed, where the people lived, and all of the plaques that are on the outside of the buildings that say what the house was originally used for. One of our buildings, the grandmother actually hand painted the ceiling in the room. Wow. So people love those sorts of things.
Yeah,
and that's what we're all about here, showing the history of the town as well as the commercial aspect.
One of the very special buildings in town is the Hahndorf Academy. Over the years, it has gone from being the first government-supported primary school to a hospital, to military headquarters, and finally to the museum and the Arts and Heritage Centre. But the history of it goes back to one particular individual who proposed a very dramatic change of the colony.
There was a young boy on board the Zebra, Carl Boehm, and when he was growing up, he realised that the community was very insulated. So he decided to become a school teacher. He wanted the community here to really have a broader understanding because of the community and of Australia, because they were only speaking German, only writing German, and only learning about their religion.
So they wouldn't have been very integrated in the Australian society at all?
No, and that's why this building was started, the school was started, and it became so popular that they actually had to put on a second story.
Oh wow, because it is quite big, isn't it?
It is. At one stage too, it was a dentist, and we found hundreds of teeth under the floorboards here.
What, under the floorboards?
Under the floorboards, hundreds of teeth.
I couldn't find anywhere to put them.
Well, apparently the dentist used to poke them down there to get rid of them. So that's a very little secret of Hahndorf that not many people know about.
Though Hahndorf retains its German heritage, new and exciting businesses have continued to emerge, adding to the atmosphere of the popular holiday destination. The Harris Smokehouse, for example, opened 4 years ago on the main street of Hahndorf, and it's put a modern spin on a fourth-generation smokehouse business, which first started in the UK and then transferred right here to Australia. A wide range of traditional European-inspired smoked seafood products using traditional family recipes are available at the store. Everything is produced right on the premises, where visitors can view the process through the glass window. Where did the tradition of smoking fish come from, Richard?
I think salmon is traditionally started in Scotland, but it's a European way of processing and preserving fish, been done for generations.
Absolutely marvellous, isn't it, when you have it? Love the flavours and all the textures and the smell, absolutely divine. Can you just tell me a little bit about the process?
It's really important that you start with good quality fish, fresh fish in the first place. Then all smoked seafood is salted first to take away moisture but to give flavour and preservative. And then smoking is a drying out process. The fish are hung in cool smoke. Depends what timber you use, different flavours, but traditionally in Europe use oak. So that's where I come from. I come from the UK. I've been here 24 years. So we produce a big range of fresh smoked seafood.
Well, Jay, there's so much fish to choose from.
Oh, yum. Yeah, oh, I smoked trout, Shannon.
Well, that looks like it'd be good to take home. Now you can get a lot of German themed food from Hahndorf up in the Adelaide Hills, and today I brought with you some smoked trout.
I'm thinking we'll do something with a bit of dill and some cream and make it, you know, nice and wintry and creamy, perfect for the Adelaide Hills when it's a bit cold. We've got some fish stock here that I made. I'm just going to reduce this down in a hot pan. It's going to bubble away, and we're going to get it right up to the highest temperature. And we're going to add some little really finely diced aromatic vegetables. They'll add a little bit of flavour, but also a little bit of texture, so give them a stir. And right, we've almost reduced down by half, so we're going to add our cream in. Just going to mix it in, and we want to cook down a bit and thicken up so it coats our pasta. So put some fettuccine there. I'm using the fresh pasta today because it's got a bit of a thicker texture. I kind of like that. This is quite a thin, creamy sauce, so it just add a bit more texture. I like how quick it cooks as well. It cooks in 4 minutes. So
4 minutes.
You know, when you're cooking with fish, which cooks really quickly as well, sort of nice to have something that cooks quite fast. Yeah. So in that 4 minutes, we're going to just season our cream. So do you want some salt and pepper in there? Give it a good twist of both. We'll just give our pasta a stir so it doesn't stick. Now we're going to add our smoked trout in, and we don't really want to cook this because it's already cooked. We just want to warm it through. You can use salmon, kingfish, whatever you really like, whatever you've got at home if you've got something at home. But if you go up to Hahndorf, it's worth grabbing a little bit of smoked trout and trying this dish out because it's really simple. That is done because we don't want to overcook our trout. So what we're going to do now is add that dill that I've chopped up. Dill, smoked fish and cream are a really great combination, and you can really smell that now. It's really fresh. So we don't want to cook that. We want to keep it nice and vibrant green. So that's why I've added it when it's off the heat.
Yeah.
The other thing we need to add is some of that lemon. So do you want to zest just some of that lemon into here? And you can see, now I said it's going to thicken up nicely. That's really nice and creamy. It's going to coat the pasta quite nicely. And the time we took to add some dill, some salmon, and some lemon, the pasta's already cooked. Wow. That's the best thing about using this great fettuccine. So I'm literally going to take it straight from the pot into the fish. I'm going to take a bit of the water with me because that helps make the sauce. We'll just gently mix this through. You want to still keep your trout quite chunky. That's us just about done. We just have to plate that up. And there's our Hahndorf dish
of smoked trout with fresh fettuccine.
Great.
Wonderful.
Now, Shannon had a great day in Hahndorf, and I didn't realise it was only 20 minutes from Adelaide.
Tell you what, Jay, it's not far, is it? And the food is amazing, and so is the shopping.
I think I need to hone in on my milking the cow skills.
No, Jay, you were fabulous at it. You really were. If you would like to catch up on today's episode, go to getasatravel.com.
And make sure you like us on Facebook.